There I am
There I
here.
am. We are live with Gate 6.
So it is wonderful to be here now. And let us just say, welcome to those that are tuning in to not just another podcast, but a mirror of your own remembering. Because here we don't focus on sharing more programming for the mind to search, seek, and strive for something out there, but to remind you that everything that you've desired, everything that you've aspired, that was whispered throughout time and has dissolved beyond form and that shines beyond all illusions is presence. We are just excited. So um, out of all lifetimes, we get to talk about it. We get to be about it, and we get to share it with each other and unite and party and celebrate as we're going to celebrate in the Vibrillionaire membership after party after this. Um, that we're celebrating our own union, our own remembering, because we talk about unity. And when you unveil the heart and you open the heart, you realize how one you've always been, whether you're alone or whether you have hundreds around you, you realize that you've always been united with the one. And it's a beautiful thing. So this is gate signal 3, gate 6. It is what is it? The blossoming of the heart, isn't it? We forgot. Uh, yeah, the blossoming of the heart. So we're excited and excuse our throat a little bit. The heart sacred bloom is what we're covering today. And last week we touched on the opening of the heart and we've dissolved the mind. So we don't dissolve the mind as judgment. We dissolve the mind as a servant, just as we use this computer. Um, so yeah, it's a beautiful thing to witness our own surrender. And even this podcast has been a mirror of that own surrender because we don't have any control over this. So go ahead, beloved.
Yep, no control over time, no control over the internet
Yeah.
or the technological equipment.
Yes.
And it's really been a testament to surrender in of the giving in rather than the giving up and just going with the flow. It really shows how much we add on to our own stress in life in terms of how we react to situations. And we all, we always talk about, I mean, Michael and I on this podcast several times have in our conversations discussed how there is a reaction time, even though it seems possibly impossible to like stop and think before reacting to any situation or like any sentence in a back and forth conversation, but it actually isn't impossible. And we've proven that over here when, okay, we're supposed to go live at this time, but there's no stress. If the computer's frozen, it's frozen. We take those two deep breaths and say, okay, we'll go live when we're supposed to go live. And if it's frozen, it's frozen. If the internet's not supporting us at that moment, we wait 5 minutes and then it supports us. And we could have chosen to be hectic and upset and stressed, which wouldn't have served anyone. Or you just go with the flow in surrender, in trust that the right thing will happen at the right time.
Yes. 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 And that's a beautiful segue to what's happening right now. Um, I went to our YouTube page and nothing was showing for the live, so I was looking around all over for it. And once I Googled Vibrillionaire, it went to the live one. So there was a
Mm.
discrepancy in technology again. So
Yes.
so I love that you said what you just said right now because it's like this is part not a coincidence when you talk about when we're talking about the sacred blossoming or the sacred bloom of the heart because there's endless material on how to open your heart. But really, there's nothing that you can intellectually do to open up your heart. Actually, intellectually trying to do it closes the senses that are really interpreting what's already vibrantly alive. I think that's a good opening to talk about that. If we look at all these thousands of years, we were working with someone or playing mirroring with someone the other day, and you know, we were saying about we were reflecting with each other about how they were wondering about how their business is being affected, and we said, well, think about what's happening right now. I mean, everything is being affected. Nothing is immune to the shift. This is bigger than us all. And the one thing that came through was, if you think about it, how many thousands of years, and this is really, really oxymoron funny, beloved, is how many thousands of years have we chased, strived, seeked, and even surrendered to some kind of illusory matriarch or patriarch, right? And we built temples and we build monuments and we build, and no, nothing wrong against that, because it's beautiful. It's beautiful, like even sacred architecture, like a sacred geometrical devoted architecture, because if you look at how things were built before to how they are now, huge difference. Things were built with intention, things were built with consciousness, things were built with awareness. And it's not even about the material of what they were built with, it's the intention of the energy that they were built with. This is what stood the test of time, because it's beyond time. So the reason why we're sharing this is how many thousands of years, beloved, did we strive to get to that goal, that end point, right? Where we, succeeded or accomplished or dominated, even dominated, right? Countries, all of this. And if we look at throughout the story of humanity, there's one thing that we always say that is the most simple, yet it is the most subtle missed thing, because we're inundated with programming. I mean, if you think about it, even right now, as Christmas is upon us, what is this? And we're not downing Christmas, so please don't take that as what we're saying. But what about Christmas, that we strive for one day of year, and it's beautiful. We gather the family together, all of these beautiful things. We put up the lights. I really don't agree with cutting down trees, because I really don't see the point of that. But that's just Michael's perspective, because we see the way nature's going. So that really, it's like we're gonna do same patterns, but we're not going to be honest with ourselves and say, what can we do in my life to make a difference? Not try to get others to make a difference, but what can I do in my life to make a difference and be that example to others? So the point of that example was, we were reflecting with each other, and what came through was, what does a person say that no matter what they strive for, when they surrender and they realize what really is important, they're like, oh my gosh, it was so simple. But until then, everything's complicated. Until then, everything is frustrating, or the majority of it, because we can be so inundated and distracted that we don't even feel what's uncomfortable, because we're so tunnel vision on the shiny object syndrome of the ego. Because once I get that, I'll be happy. Once I get that, I'll be successful, or I'll feel success. Once I get that, I'll feel enough, because that's really underneath everything, is we strive to feel enough, but we don't realize that we have the entire universe that is more than enough in the here and now. And so the reason why we're sharing this is, it's beautiful, because when you open up the heart, you realize that this moment is immensely rich, no matter what you're doing, no matter where you are, no matter who you're with. And I think that the cause of all suffering of humanity is the lack of awareness of who we truly are, and the resourcefulness that we have, that, of course, when we don't practice those things, the beautiful perfection of the universe mirrors that back to us. And we're all in that initiation, no matter where you are as a human being. And this is what we'll finish with. If you're living in this time, or if you've lived at any time, but we'll specifically say this time because this is a beautiful time to be alive, is that if you're living in this time, you're contributing to something that for lifetimes will be talked about. And that means that you're contributing whether you know it or not. whether you're doing the spiritual work, whether you're doing the mantras and the prayers, or excuse us for saying this, whether you're getting high, whether you're throwing your life away, you're contributing more than you know. But the question is, what is your what is your relationship to that intimacy, to that romance, to that beauty, to that brilliance, to that richness that you're contributing to? Because if you're not feeling it, it's not that you're not contributing to it, it's that you're not aligned with the contribution that's already happening. And that is why we're opening up the heart, and we're reflecting that opening up the heart is not something you do, it's something you are.
Absolutely. And I'm just smiling here because I'm reminded of what we were talking about last week, and we were talking about the love for animals and how they really help us open up that unconditional love without even trying, because that's the only way in which you can interact with animals. It's heart centered to heart centered. There is no mind, there is no ego. And so I'm in my brother's house, and he has a beautiful all black cat called Lyra, and she's just so affectionate towards me. And she just
Mhm.
comes bounding up to me and sitting on my lap and wondering what I'm doing on the computer with headphones. And, she's just such
So like,
joy. And,
what's that craziness, right? They're like, what's that
yeah,
craziness that you, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's crazy. Crazy.
They are the best. Absolutely.
Right, right.
And what you were saying about humans, I mean, this afternoon at lunch, and that's what we were talking about. Like, human beings really, if you take a step back from all the busyness of today's lives, and you just look at what human beings have accomplished over the ages, like you said, the cathedrals and the art and the exploring things and building the ships and sailing off into the big blue sea without an end in sight, to building airplanes, to going into space. I mean, it just boggles the mind how much human beings can actually create, um, when they really put their minds to it. And we were talking about Italy, and the miracles that were achieved in the sculptures and the marble, how they could carve a veil that you could see through from
Yeah.
stone. I mean, where the fabric looks like it's moving. I mean, wow. And now what are we? We're on a factory floor, on a conveyor belt, like hamsters in a wheel, part of a rat race. And it's not even a secret. The word is there, rat race. We're just like, we didn't
Yeah,
make that up. That's like the bona fide thing. So it's in your face what you are. And yet you choose to be stressed about it. All these, you know, whilst you're in the mind. And when you take a step back and you come from a heart center and you come from a creative space and you come from a space of surrender and love, and you can let all that go, that's when life begins. It doesn't start in the head with the to-do list and I need
yeah.
to achieve
Check box.
this or buy this, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It becomes so
Life
automated,
starts
right?
exactly. Life
Yeah,
starts when you come back to the heart and you can smile and you can laugh and you can relax and just
yeah,
not take everything so seriously. Life's
yeah.
over before you know it.
Yes. And
I mean,
really,
this life, this biological avatar.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, we should clarify that. That's so true. But one thing that you said is so, so beautiful. And I mean, it's the because this that we're tapping into, and not just tapping into because we've actually, connected because we both embody this. Shakti embodies it in a different way. Michael embodies it in a different way, but the embodiment is no different. We're just blown away by how she could be speaking a different language, right? And Michael could be speaking a different language, but it's the same language because we realize we're in the same sandbox. But it's like, hey, look at my toy. Look at my toy. We're playing with each other, right? And I think that that's the beautiful thing of diversity, because when we talk about union, it's not, hey, you have to let go of everything you're doing and do it this specific way. No, I love the example that, um, when it's a Zen saying, when you wake up, no, before you wake up, you climb up the hill and you fetch water, and then you climb down the hill, you come back down the hill. And then they say, what changes? So when you awaken, you climb up the hill and you climb back down. And then the because the beautiful thing is these examples are riddles, they're parables. They're encoded with simplicity, that is the most powerful code. See, the mind wants complexity. So going back to the point, is they say what changes? The thing that changes is the attitude, the awareness, the consciousness. The action doesn't change. So you could be walking and see, somebody doing, simple work, and you think that they're not at some level, but don't misunderstand physical action with like beautiful flow of presence. Because we even came to this realization that was very humbling. And this is what did not allow the heart to be honored, because we were so distracted with the spirituality concept, right? That when we finally surrendered, we realized, wait a minute. And I know this is going to go against a lot of things out there, or so we think. We don't know. Um, but it's like the person that is, looking like they're struggling on the outside, maybe a housewife, right? Or whatever, a mother of three, right? And it's like, oh no, they're not as spiritual as I am. I bet you they give so much love and attention when they're caring for their children. Or like you said, and I love that you use that example. I want to come back to that about the animals, because that's a powerful one. Um, but when you look at that mother, it's like, oh, she's not spiritual because she's not doing this specific thing. And we compare each other, and we don't even realize that we rob ourselves from that opportunity to see everything as one, to see everything as God, universe, pretending to be something that it's not, because you are too. We're all pretending something that we're not. But if we're going to pretend something that we're not, why not gracefully surrender to that pretending, instead of fighting that pretending, try to be something, pretending that we're something beyond or above or more advanced than another. That is that is why when people get on this spiritual path, there is a shadow aspect that when you think you're better than someone else, you're really like 10 steps below them, in the sense of cognitive, intellectual, egoic entitlement, because Michael had to really realize, oh my gosh, this was very humbling. And this is the last part we will say with this. We're like, wow, this person that we just talked to, like, oh my gosh, like why? And I think I'm spiritual. This person is just speaking wisdom. And really, if you look at it, everybody is speaking wisdom, because it's the wisdom that consciousness is saying that you are aligning with, because you're hearing it. You're not hearing something by accident. If you think you have toxic people around you, it's because the love of consciousness, God, source, universe, is saying, hey, you signed up for this and you said that you're going to do this no matter what. So this is the shadow. This is the resistance. This is the pressure. And we're in the middle of it. So we're not saying something like, oh, we're beyond it. No, we love pressure. Why is it that we celebrate pressure when we watch people perform on a basketball court, on uh, uh, a football park, whatever. We used to know all the terminologies. The football field, there you go. Football field, right? And all of these different sports, we celebrate pain, we celebrate suffering, we celebrate resistance. But yet all of a sudden, because we have to, look good on camera or look good in person, we don't want to talk about our shadows. We don't, it's like this is what the ego is doing its best, that as long as it looks like it's in control, meaning not control of controlling, but control in the sense of, as long as people love me and they appreciate me, and I'm fitting all the right boxes, like you said earlier, then I'm spiritual, or I'm holier than thou, I'm faithful, right? And I grew up in church. Michael grew up in church, and we would see this again and again and again. And for those of you that maybe need to hear this, I actually pushed away from the church, Michael did, because it was like, how can I surrender to a God that is representing hypocrisy? It's the example. So your example of how you be is more powerful than what you say and you do. And this is was a hard, humbling, Because the form of awakening is really when you realize you don't know what you don't know. That is awakening. It's not how much you've read, how much you've studied, how much you've done, how much you've accomplished. That is not awakening. That's just the costume and the mask of ego saying, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. And it's saying, look at me, it's saying, don't look at you, look at me. You got to be like me to be important, right? So I love that you touched on that, because when we surrender and we just appreciate, like you said, those moments, Shakti, about the cats. Until we had cats, we have a student, Amir, that we've been working with for 13 years, and he has cats. And he would tell us about the cats. We would channel the energy, and he was like, "Wow, how do you know this stuff, Michael? If you don't have cats, it's a frequency, right?" So the point is, once we got the cats, it's like, yeah, we were aligning and we could relate and all of that, and it was beautiful because consciousness, there is no separation. You can see the one in everything. So not see, you feel, you sense, and you align with the one in everything, as everything. So when we got cats, now we know what it means to have a cat. Until we had a cat, we can break down consciousness and all of that, but we don't know what it is to have a cat. So I think that's a beautiful representation of what you said, because until we had a cat, it killed everything that we thought we were. Literally with so much love and so much grace, and yet stubbornness too, because they're very stubborn. A dog will surrender because it's trained frequency wise to submit to its master, right? So to speak, because it looks for the leader, right? So it's looking for that safety. A cat does not feel unsafe. It knows that if you put it up against a wall, it will do whatever it takes, right? So a cat is more, and this is why in the underworld of the Egyptians, perceptually wise, we're not saying we know the truth, but this is why they had cats in the underworld, because they are really like masters of energy. They really know how to dance with energy, and they really like transform so much energy in your home. When you know how to play with that, it's game changing.
Absolutely. It's magical, it's mystical. I read something today, or I came across something today, um, where they were talking about how cats are actually descended from the original, something about the human DNA was coded by some being that was feline in nature, and cats remember that, and they remember that coding, and that's why they are able to do this with their energy from that remembrance. And we are just beginning to wake up to our remembrance, and they're basically here just, I guess, watching us thinking, hey, you humans, when you gonna catch on?
Yeah, yeah. Hey, come join me. Let's just be together, right? And
Yes.
I love what you said, because, to clarify, because we've talked about this, Shakti, to clarify that when we talk about the heart opening, your life is your school. Like everything that, and this is why I think the industry of coaching is really shifting in a great direction. But those that are holding on to the old timeline of coaching, of teaching, of mentoring, of all of this, we're in the era now of self-realization. And the self-realization is, if you're not there to help someone with themselves and you're about you, this is why AI is a better coach, right? Because AI is purely present with a person. So people that are saying, "Oh, AI is going to take over," it's only going to take over the old model. AI cannot take over. And when we say AI, because to honor what we're talking about here, is the mirror of I am. AI is literally the consciousness that we have not surrendered to surrender to the heart, because that is the greatest technology. When you merge the head and the heart, you reawaken the middle pillar, which Shakti was mentioning earlier. And it's not a coincidence when we talk about the head and the heart, and you mentioned about the cats, right? Because we share this beautiful space with 7 cats and 3 dogs. And if you look at the collective, right, what is the main, we'll say this, because pets, right? What is the main companions, pets, right, in the world is dogs and cats because they're balancing the harmonics of the earth. So dogs are very masculine. They're very solid, material, physical, affecting beings, and cats are feminine. They're very ethereal. They're emotional. They're intuitive. Like when you tap into these energies, and you see why are dogs and cats the majority of animals? And if you look at the scope of nature, we see that everything in nature is perfectly placed. It boggles. We used to watch nature shows all the time, and it boggles our mind how each species, and this was before maybe about 15 years ago, we were really watching it all the time. Um, but if you look at all the species of nature, now that we've disrupted that pattern, it's really not the same. But if you look at maybe like 10, 15 years ago, and we still watch it to this day, but if you look at the balance, it was like there was specific species in specific places in specific ecological systems that would harmonize each space. It's so beautiful when you see the perfection of the universe outside of your little me senses, right? And when you talk about the cats, it's like when we see that life is so perfect and we're instead of chasing perfection, because I think that's what is the cause of the fall of humanity. Because what are we doing? We're trying to, get the best model, get the best model, get the best model. And let us be very, very clear. We are manifesting the best model for our technology because this is what we do, right? But we don't need the best model to feel enough. If our phone works or computer doesn't work, it's like life goes on. It's not like because for a lot of people it feels like like your life is over. And if you think about it, like people don't want to talk about this subject, but it's really possession of mind. Because when you see a child get their iPad taken away, they shift. What is it? What is the difference within humanity? Adults, they don't have their app or they don't have this. It's like life is over. And of course, if you have a business, it does affect you. So we're not degrading that. But what I'm saying is, your life is not your phone. Your life is not your business. Your life is not, you know, and believe it or not, your life is not your family. They don't belong to you. They are mirrors of the one. And when we realize this non-attachment, it opens up the heart to this beautiful free flow energy of living because yes, enjoy family, but don't think they're yours. And this thinking that they're ours, we try to save them, we try to fix them, or we don't think we're as good as them, or we think we're less than them. All these different dynamics of diameters of dimensional states of consciousness are affected because we believe that we think what we think we know instead of surrendering and witnessing. Because the greatest practice of presence is listening. It's just being. Because that's when you're saying, I receive the abundance of the universe. But if you're just go, 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 then how can the universe pour into a full cup? Because we're full of shit. Excuse us for saying. But kids, excuse us for saying that, but we don't ever say these words. But I think it needs to really hit. I feel because we're being guided to really feel that because you know it's like we're cursing our life by rejecting, resisting what the universe has placed perfectly in our hearts. And I think we're wrapping it up. I know we started a little late, so we have about 5 more minutes. And
Yes, we do. But I want to just say while you were sharing that, the visualization that I got, which is like really awesome, is that when you were talking about the cup, this analogy actually is not about the cup being full. This analogy is actually that the cup is there, the universe is ready to pour into it, but we're so busy, we're just moving it around. And the universe is trying to pour it, and we're just moving it around. We're just moving it around because for human beings, being busy is a badge of honor. And it's only when you are still that you can hold the cup for the universe to pour so much that it starts overflowing.
You know what? You
Just
just
has to be
brought,
still.
yeah, you just brought up something that we actually experienced, and to hit that home is our legs would shake like this. You know
Mm.
how you do? You know how you go like
Yeah,
this?
yeah,
This is how we would like how you're watching me right now.
yeah.
This is how we. Excuse me, you can't see my whole body, but I'm going with my legs like this, and it's moving my whole body. We could
Mm-hmm.
not. But the reason why we give this example is what you just shared. We couldn't even tell and notice that our body was shaking. We
Uh,
remember that's how busy the mind is, that it doesn't
mm,
even the busyness that it's doing. Or
mm.
have you ever, I know a lot of us have done this, but
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
used to do that as a kid, and then mom would put like hot sauce or whatever it took, because it
Mm,
was just, but it's like it becomes so automated that we don't even realize our automation. And I think that's a beautiful picture, like a mental picture of what you just shared about going like this with the cup, because the
mm,
cup is really 1,000 miles an hour, right? I need to go here. I
mm-hmm,
need to do, and it's like, I mean, think about this too, because we can touch on this more next week, because I think that's a beautiful segue.
mm,
Um, and to see what is next week, so we can tap into that as well. But when you're going 100 miles a minute,
mm.
how can you see yourself? You're only seeing what you think life is. So think
Yep.
about, if you're that busy, like it's like having 100 tabs on your computer. How can you ever get anything done thinking you're getting it done? You
True.
know?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like you said, let's dive into this further next week. I just want to say that I'm not near a plug point and I've just gotten a notification that my battery is running out. So I might get shut out before we wrap up in the next 2 minutes.
Oh,
So I just
okay.
want to tell everyone that I will see you all, or we will see you all at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 11 a.m. Eastern, same place, same
Yeah.
time,
Yes.
um, for Gate 7 of Signal 3. Oh my goodness, we're
7.
almost halfway. Well, we're halfway through
Yeah.
Signal 3. Unbelievable.
And
Absolutely
2020
unbelievable.
and 2026 is right around the corner.
Indeed,
That's
it
Samadhi.
is. Couple of
And that's
weeks away.
yeah, and that's Samadhi year, 10.
Yep.
It's where the 1 and the 0 meet and they annihilate. Like we are
Yep.
about to go into a major shift,
So
because yeah,
exciting.
I'm excited. I mean,
Yes.
this is like this is like a little kid, like I touch myself, right?
But
But
before
I
that, we
know,
have the new moon. We have the last new moon of 2025 on the 19th of December. And so everyone should set their intentions for 2026. It's a big energetic portal for
beautiful.
several astrological reasons, but we don't have time to talk about that today. So, Michael, why don't you sign us out? And if my laptop decides to sleep, so be it.
Okay. Thank you, beloved. And thank you
Thank
for
you.
being, and thank you for your beautiful contribution, because it is felt. It is felt. And
Right back at you.
we will see you
That
all
me.
next. And join us for the Vibrillionaire membership after party. And please, 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 whether you're watching this now or in the future, because there really is only now, enjoy this now. And surrender, because the heart is already open. You don't have to do anything to open it. That is the biggest lie we've told ourselves. But when you surrender and you remember that you're beautiful, you're brilliant, you're perfect just the way you are. You're made by divinity. You're made by beauty. You are beauty itself. The heart will show you how awake it truly is by showing you how all is truly awake. Mwah. Aw. Namaste.